This past year, my son, um, who is who's now 3, at 14 months old, he got a his 14-month DTaP. Clearly, I don't get the label of anti-vaxxer in this case. And and when he did, 3 hours later, he had a seizure. Now, this is all documented. He went to the emergency room. They didn't know what was wrong. And the next thing you know, it was something out of a movie. This was a very interesting situation because he went from being, hitting all of his milestones, all of his markers. Um, he he was talking, saying 3 words: mommy, sissy, kitty, things like that at 14 months old. He was
Hmm.
climbing out of his crib, and overnight, and I can't express this enough. Overnight, he went from that to not looking you in the eyes, lining up toys, being OCD, sensitive to touch, sensitive to hearing, not sleeping. I mean, it was a totally different kid.
And let me
Most,
let me back up. Let me
go,
back up for one second.
go ahead, go ahead.
I'm sure I've got this clear. So, you took your son in for a round of vaccine shots. Sounds like.
Well, yeah, it was his fourth DTaP shot. So from 14 months, they have these children on 70. I want to say, and don't quote me on this, but it's close. It's about right around 70 vaccines per
Right.
the full schedule now.
And then
Now, give or take.
that shortly after that round, you noticed a change in his disposition.
Well, within 3 hours, he was in convulsions.
And
So,
then
and I knew it
what did
wasn't. I didn't care if it was the peanut butter sandwich. I just wanted answers.
right?
And
What did the
what's
healthcare professionals tell you had happened?
after the event, I took him to his pediatrician, and she said, "Well, the this could be febrile." I said, "Listen, I don't disagree necessarily, but you have his chart in front of you. You're seeing the behavior. You've treated him. I mean, you've been his doctor for 14 months. You're looking that he was ahead, and now you're saying that he can't communicate at all. So please define that in the aspect of febrile. And just for your listeners, febrile just means that when somebody gets hot enough, let's say for a fever, when you have an immune response and your immune system's attacking it, you build up a fever to kill it, assuming it's a living organism. Some children do have seizures with that. The problem with this one is I went along with her for a minute. Again, I knew nothing about autism, absolutely nothing. And when I took him in, I mean, when I, about, I guess, sorry, about a month later, he had an ear infection and, or a quote unquote, as she would put it, a bug, and, which is not very specific. And I said, yes, but he's got 104 fever and he's not having a seizure. And she goes, well, yeah, clearly it's not febrile. And he's never had a seizure since. Clearly, we've eliminated febrile. And so then, you do a genetics test, you do a GX test. And at the end of the day, what you find out is these kids are filled with toxins. They're filled with heavy metals. They're filled with, and they don't like talking about it. They don't want to even acknowledge that point. They just
Sure.
want to say they love to use the word genetic without understanding what the word genetic actually means. I found an integrative doctor here that was very, very good at this. He was probably the top in his t- top that you're looking for. It takes time to get into him top scenario. Young doctor, and he was sitting there. He said, Jason, this is a bad case. And I said, yeah, yeah, it is. And 6 months later, he goes, how in the world did you do this?
Okay, so let me
And
pause you right there. So you've acknowledged. So was your son ultimately diagnosed as autistic?
yes, yes,
Okay.
level 2.
And of course, you being the concerned parent, good father, you dug in with research and all your resources, and you discovered that there might be a solution, it sounds like.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's certainly a solution. Then, and I honestly, if it was more able to be talked about, that solution would be far more along. But there is certainly a solution in all cases, unless your child is missing a chromosome, and that does happen. That's Down syndrome. Or unless your kid, has serious damage on the brain, and I'm not talking about from toxicity, it can be fixed. It can certainly be fixed. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience, but it can be fixed.
Okay, so we're not making any medical claims here.
I'm not making any medical claims at all.
From your experience and your observations, what happened?
The people that come out to your home that monitor your child, they try to basically see where he's at, and then kind of inform you on, how to let them live with it, and what schools, where they're at, and all of this as you're getting that diagnosis and all of that fun stuff. They saw incremental changes in him that they couldn't explain, and they go to so many people a day, it's unreal. That they were able to get 5 children to the same space mine was. And I've got
using PEMF.
Well, PEMF, this particular PEMF was a new find. I had this is where I was going to go with that. PEMF, there's so many different types, first of all, and yours is a very unique type, and that needs to be, I cannot explain that enough. Every doctor on the planet, every pediatrician, every integrative needs one of these in their office. And I don't make a dime off of saying any of this.
I'm going to put some words in your mouth. Tell me if I'm wrong, but you and I chatted before this.
We've had many.
You said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you said you found the PEMF 8000 Pro helpful with the mat to help your son relax and go to sleep. Is that true?
Yes, it's phenomenal. And I'm going to send you that video to add into this. So you can actually see it with yourself, because you know what? If I were a parent, all of you out there, I wouldn't believe it either. I would do a bet $1,000 right now with you right now that I've got the mat behind me. I can tell he needs a nap and hasn't had one today. I could put him on the thing. He's going to pass out cold. If you do it at their bedtime, they will certainly sleep through the night. And I have not had that in forever. I've been trying for 6 months to do molecular hydrogen and oxygen. So makes that actually saturates and takes away a ton of swelling in the body. I've got a molecular hydrogen machine actually behind me. And I could not get a nasal cannula in this child's nose to save my life. I don't care if I did it snuck in there at 2 a.m, like the Pink Panther. It wasn't happening. He'll brush it away. And if it's in his nose, he'll wake up, freak out. For the first time, I've been able to do that therapy every single time with this PEMF, because it puts him out so much. You can almost consider it because it makes the blood flow so well. And then you've got, as any parent knows, that the autistic children, they know that they're, like I said, that those veins, they get worked up, their veins constrict, and all that does is make it worse. You open that up and they relax and they're out. But they are so out, which is so insane, that I was able to, he didn't even notice when I put it in his nose. I ran it for 20 minutes, took it out of his nose, and he still didn't wake up. And then he slept through the night. So it was it's very new to what I was used to. I had been trying for 6 months. So I thought, okay, I'm crazy. This is the first time I did that. I was like, okay, there's no way. Maybe this is a fluke. So the next day I tried it without. Didn't work. And then, of course, the next time and the next time and the next time. So I did it on and off. And every time I did it with PEMF, no problem. Every time without, problem.
Wow.
Your PEMF machine would solve so many problems in so many pediatricians' offices, especially ones that, they're not trying to. A lot of parents don't want to put their kids under. I wouldn't.
Right.
I mean, it's a dangerous deal. They're little. And a lot of parents don't want to, give them benzodiazepines and hope for the best. So you've got a machine that actually I can categorically prove. I've got microscopes over here. I've got all kinds of fun stuff just to make sure that I'm not lying to nobody. If you want to see yourself, test the machine, prick your finger, put it under a microscope, look at the blood cells, do the machine, do it again. Wait 3 days, prick your machine first, put it under the microscope. You'll see that your blood cells are clumped up. As soon as you do the machine, they will no longer be clumped up.
All right, Jason, I'll wrap up here. So to summarize, you've seen PEMF technology and PEMF 8000 Pro help with your son's autism. You've seen it help with your sciatic nerves. You've seen it help with other people's muscle and joint pain. How would you summarize what PEMF means to the world right now in one sentence?
I've got another company that I'm dealing with. I'm trying to open a wellness center. But one of the thing about it, the wellness centers is that once I saw this, I said, oh my God, the new applications are going to be insane. And when I'm about to have a meeting with some big doctors on this now, because they need to know about this. And that's just the bottom line. They need to know about this technology because, they're having a lot of problems getting blood taken and a lot of tests done, and they're not going to be able to do it without just traumatizing these children having to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth if they don't have a way to do it. And this covers a couple of different areas. Not only does it put it to sleep, but it'll also open that vasculatory system up, and it'll be easy to take blood. The child won't even know when they wake up.